Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with another recommendations video and I'm really excited about this one today because I'm going to be recommending books that I think you guys should read during the cold winter months. So the winter time is actually my favorite time to read because there are two types of books that I really enjoy in the wintertime. The first one being holiday romances. I am a sucker for a good holiday romance. So I tend to read a lot more romances during the winter months just because I love those holiday vibes. So I have a few that I'm going to recommend you guys. Another one that I really love to read during the winter months are mystery thrillers. I love mystery thrillers that are set during like winter months in the snow, that type of vibe. That's what I'm feeling during the winter months. So I have quite a few mystery thrillers that I'm also going to be recommending you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, and I'm gonna start with 4 holiday romances that I think you should read during the winter months. The first holiday romance that I have here that I feel like I'm the only one that has ever read this is You Make It Feel Like Christmas by Donna Hill and Frances Ray. I've actually included this in a couple of recommendation videos just because I had such a good time with this one. This is like one of those romance books that I will randomly think about at any point during the year. So this is actually split up into 2 different stories. And the first story that I'm going to talk about is the one that I really enjoyed. I like the other one. I really enjoyed the first one. So the first one is actually called Rocking Around That Christmas Tree, and it is by both Donna Hill and Frances Ray. And in this one, we're following this older couple. When I say older, I think they're like in their 50s. They have adult children, and it's Denise and Edward. And Denise is at a point in her life where she kind of wants to do things on her own. She doesn't necessarily want to rely on her husband, Edward. Like, her children are out of the house. She has a lot of free time, and she kind of wants to start, I believe it's like her own sewing business. Like, she wants to sew clothes, make clothes, that kind of thing. Edward is not really paying her any mind. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. He is a provider. He has a really good job. He is just used to taking care of everything in the house, and he has no problem doing it. Like, that's what he enjoys. And so Denise kind of feels neglected. And so during Thanksgiving dinner, she tells the entire family that she plans to get a divorce. And Edward just really does not know what to do with that information. He is taken aback. He is thrown off because he did not expect that. And so now Edward is trying to win back Denise. Love the story. I think the one thing that I really loved about this story so much is that these are older people. They have been through some things together in their marriage. And so I just really like seeing a romance through the eyes of people who are older. The second story in here is called The Wish by Frances Ray. And this one is a little bit more lighthearted and fun. And so we're following this guy named Nicholas. And he is kind of looking for love, but not really. And so one day he's in a grocery store and he comes across this older lady, and they kind of get to chatting up a little bit. And so he kind of, sort of, not really makes this wish about wanting to fall in love. And this old lady grants him this wish. Now, he wants to fall in love, but all of these women, everywhere he goes, are like basically throwing themselves at him until he finds someone that he actually really likes. And so it's just about Nicholas finding love, but it is funny. But I would say if you're gonna check this one out, check out Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, because that was a fantastic story. But this is definitely one of my favorites. Another holiday romance that I really enjoyed, and I just had a really fun time with it. It is a hilarious story. It's called The 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayliss. I have read a lot of this author's holiday romances. I want to say that's all they write are holiday romances, and this one by far is one of my favorites. So in this one, we're following Kate. Kate lives in London, and she's working as a side job as a baker in her best friend Matt's cafe. And so she is looking for love, and he takes it upon himself to sign her up for this like dating agency that tells people that they will be able to find them a match during the holidays. And so she reluctantly starts going on these dates. Some of these dates are hilarious. But while she is going out on these crazy dates, Kate and Matt realize that they actually have feelings for each other, and then the story kind of takes off from there. But the one thing that I really liked about this one were the 12 dates that she actually went on. If you're looking for a more lighthearted and fun holiday romance, I would definitely suggest you check out this one. Another one that I really enjoyed is Christmas in Spite of You by Casey Mills. This was a pleasant surprise because I actually ended up enjoying this way more than I thought I was going to. So in this one, we're following this woman, Noelle, and Noelle is struggling a little bit financially. And so for the holidays, she has decided that she is going to rent out her apartment as an Airbnb while she takes a trip back home, I believe, for the holidays. That plan falls through and she ends up having to stay at her place. But the Airbnb, she forgot to cancel like the reservation. And so the person that rented her apartment actually shows up. His name is Canton, and he says that she needs to stick to their agreement because he has just rented her Airbnb for the week. So now she has decided to let him stay, and she's gonna stay there. These two have two totally different personalities. Noelle is all about Christmas. She loves doing all of the fun, festive activities. Meanwhile, Canton could care less. He is not into the holidays like that. He is literally at her place so that he has somewhere that he can work during the holidays. And then, of course, a romance ensues. Love this one. Had a good time. If you have not read anything by this author, I think this is a good place to start. The last holiday romance that I want to recommend is This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousins. This was actually my first book by Sophie Cousins, and I have not looked back since. Every book that I have picked up by Sophie Cousins, I have really enjoyed. So in this one, we're following our main character, Minnie. And Minnie believes that she is just really, really unlucky. And she thinks she's unlucky because her birthday falls on New Year's. But when she was born, it's kind of a funny story because her mother and this other guy, Quinn's mother, they were like in this competition at the hospital. So whoever had their baby on New Year's Day got like a cash prize, and it ended up being this guy's Quinn's mother that won. Ever since then, and once Minnie found this out as she got older, she has believed that she is just really unlucky on her birthday. It's always some big catastrophe. So on her 30th birthday at a New Year's Eve party, she actually ends up hanging out with Quinn. And she notices that Quinn's life is so much better than hers. She's struggling financially. He is not. He is living this successful life that Minnie thinks that she should live. But over the course of the year, they continue to bump into each other. And so it turns from friends to lovers. A romance takes place. And we get a lot of flashbacks over the years where these two have actually crossed paths and they didn't even know it. So I really enjoyed this one. Not only are we following the romance between Minnie and Quinn, but there's also some good friendship development in here between Minnie and some of the people that she works with because they go through some things as well. So there is a lot that this book offers. If you are not familiar with Sophie Cousins and you have not checked out anything by this author, this is a good place to start. This is where I started, and like I said before, I have not looked back since. Now we're going to get into the mystery thrillers that I think you guys should read during the winter months. We're going to start off with a anthology. So this is Christmas and Other Horror Stories. And for this one, I tabbed the ones that I liked. And if I remember correctly, I liked about half of these. Not to say that the other ones aren't good, but about half of them are ones that I really, really enjoyed. So this anthology involves some creepy things. I wouldn't say that any of the stories are necessarily scary, but I do feel like some of them are a little bit unsettling. Some of them deal with, creepy children, some creatures, people go missing, and not all of them necessarily revolve around Christmas, but just around the holidays and people celebrating other traditions. But I think this would be a good anthology if you like horror and if you like stories that take place around the holidays. Some of the authors that are featured in this anthology would be Stephen Graham Jones, Alma Katsu, Cassandra Caw, Josh Mallerman, Garth Nix. One of the other stories that I really enjoyed in here was by Tanana Reed Dew. So I think this is a book that you will enjoy if you like short stories and you like stories that take place in the winter. Next up, I have a couple of short stories if you're kind of feeling slumpy and just want something quick to get you into the wintry mood. First one we have is The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. This is very short. And in this one, we are following this college student, Ashley. She is actually studying abroad in London, and she is invited for the holidays to go home with one of her friends. However, when she gets there, she finds out that this friend's brother is actually being investigated for murder, and so Ashley gets wrapped up into all of that. Half of the story is told in journal format, where we are getting told what happened when Ashley went back to her friend's family's house, and then the rest of the story is giving us the aftermath. Again, this was really quick, got straight to the point, and if you're wanting like a quick mystery thriller, I think this one would work. Another quick one we have here is Christmas Presents by Lisa Unger. I think this was probably my first book by Lisa Unger, and I did enjoy it. And so in this one, we're following this woman named Madeline, and Madeline is actually a survivor of a serial killer. Unfortunately, she did lose one of her friends to this serial killer. Around the holidays, this true crime podcaster comes into town, and he is looking into this serial killer. Also, at the same time, Madeline has been receiving these random gifts, and she believes that they might be coming from the serial killer who is currently in jail. So Madeline and her best friend Badger are trying to figure out who these gifts are coming from, and there have also been some other disappearances that have been happening recently, and Madeline and Badger are trying to figure out why are these people now missing. This was short, quick, and straight to the point. If you like Lisa Unger and you have not checked this out, I suggest that you do. For my next couple of books, we are going to be moving into one of my favorite tropes. And not only is it my favorite trope, but it's also set in the wintertime, which makes me really excited. But that is when people are being picked off one by one. First up, we have An Unwanted Guest by Miss Sherry Lapina. You guys know I love Sherry Lapina, and this one did not disappoint. So in this one, we're following a lot of characters. Just like in all of Sherry Lapina's books, it might start off with one or two characters, but by the end, you are following a ton. So in this one, we are following quite a few couples, and they are all at this retreat at a mountain lodge for various reasons. All of these couples have different reasons for why they're at this mountain lodge. While everyone is there, there's this really, really bad winter storm, and so now everybody is stuck until the storm passes. But of course, one evening, I want to say, I think it was like the first night that they're there, somebody is found dead, and then the story kind of takes off from there, and one person is found dead, then another, and then of course we are trying to figure out who did it and why. Love this one, loved the atmosphere. If you have not checked out anything by Sherry Lapina, this will be a good one for the winter months. So the next one we have here is Breathless by Amy McCulloch. I don't think I've actually seen a lot of people talk about this one. It is an older title, but in this one, we are following this journalist. Her name is Cecily, and she is traveling to the 8th highest mountain peak in the world to interview a famous mountaineer. So she is trying to get like this exclusive story, because if memory serves me correctly, I don't think this particular mountaineer does a lot of stories. But in order to get an interview from him, she also has to climb this mountain, and she is not a mountain climber. So that's a whole nother set of problems. So while she is trying to prepare herself to go up this mountain, there are of course other people that are also trekking up this mountain as well. One person is found dead while they're trying to trek to the top of this mountain, then another person, and they're trying to decide, is it the winter elements that is taking out these people, or is someone actually committing these murders? And so the story just kind of takes off from there. Definitely gives you winter vibes. If you are a adventurer and if you like mountain climbing and all of that talk, then I think this one will work for you. So then the next one that I have here is Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. This is my first book that I've ever read by Darcy Coates, and Darcy has written a lot of books. But ever since I have read this one, I have definitely wanted to check out something else from her, and I plan to. So in this one, we're following our main character, Krista. And Krista, along with her boyfriend and a group of other people, they're heading on a tour group into the Rocky Mountains. While they're like on the way in this bus, there's like a tree that falls onto the road that kind of derails their trip. They end up hiking to this hunting cabin, and now they have to stay there until a winter storm passes. However, after their first night in this cabin, somebody goes outside and notices that one of the people that was actually staying with them, their head is now hanging from a tree. And so now everybody is scared to death, as one would be. And so after that person's head is found, then other people are found dead. And now we're trying to figure out what is going on. This one was really good. I really liked that everybody was stuck in this little bitty cabin. The last third of the story has a ton of action in it. And like I said, after reading this one, I cannot wait to pick up something else from Darcy Coates. Another one that I read based off of other people's recommendations, this is Near the Bone by Christina Henry. This is another author that has written quite a few books, but this one by far I think is the best one. So in this one, we're following this young woman named Maddie, and Maddie is living in this cabin with this man, William. The strange thing is that she can't remember her life before she started living with William. And William is not the nicest to her. He verbally abuses her, and she also suffers some other abuse. Now, on this mountaintop that they're on, there is also some sort of creature, monster that is out there killing people. So one day, Maddie comes across these three people that are on the mountain looking for this creature slash monster thing. And from there, it kind of turns into like a monster horror story, but also a mystery in there because these three people believe they might know Maddie and her story. And so it turns into a lot that's going on. But at the heart of this story, we're trying to figure out what this creature slash monster thing really is. This is a good story, especially if you like a lot of stuff kind of happening at one time. I really felt for our character Maddie, and in these type of stories, I'm not necessarily going into them hoping that I come to really care about a character. I'm just there for the plot, I'm there for the action. But in this one, I really felt for Maddie and her story, and I just kind of think I enjoyed how everything was revealed, and I also really enjoyed where the story left off. So if you have not read Near the Bone, I suggest you do. So the next book that I want to recommend is The Overnight Guest by Heather Gudenkauf. And this one, we're following a true crime writer by the name of Wiley. She has decided to go to this isolated farmhouse so she could start writing her next book. But while she's there, in the snow, she actually finds this small child. And now she has to bring this child inside and figure out what's going on with that. But at this particular farmhouse that she is staying at, decades before, there was actually a murder that took place there. So we are kind of flipping back and forth between the past and the present with Wiley with this missing child, and then in the past where we are finding out what actually happened in that farmhouse. I really enjoyed the story. It's kind of hard sometimes when you have a dual timeline for me to be interested in both, and I was definitely interested in both of these timelines. I really enjoyed how this story came together. This is another author that has quite a few books, but if you are looking for something specifically for the winter months, I would say pick this one up. The next one that I have here is Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. And let me tell you, this book creeped me out. If you are looking for something good for the winter months to listen to on audio, I would suggest that you listen to this one. This is also my first book by Jennifer McMahon. After I have read this one, I have then read everything Jennifer McMahon has came out with since. And I have to say, this is by far my favorite book of this author's. This one also follows a dual timeline. So in 1908, this woman, Sarah, was found dead in the woods, and she died shortly after the tragic death of her daughter. Then we fast forward to present day where we're following this girl, Ruthie. Ruthie and her mother and little sister have just moved into this town. There are some secrets, there are some like urban legends, especially surrounding this other woman's death back in 1908. One day, Ruthie wakes up and her mother is missing. And she also happens to run across this diary that actually belonged to the woman from 1908, Sarah. And so we're flipping back and forth between the timelines. We're getting these journal entries and we are trying to figure out what happened to Ruthie's mother. Whew, like I said, this book was definitely creepy, definitely had me looking over my shoulder. And it's another one where I really enjoyed both of the timelines that we were given. If you have been reading things by Jennifer McMahon and you have not come across this one, I suggest you pick up Winter People, especially now that we are getting into the colder months. So the last book that I have that I want to recommend is not one that I typically loved, but I like to recommend this one because I think this has an audience out there. So I told you guys at the very beginning that I love a good mystery thriller in the winter months, and I also love romance. This is a combination of the two. So this is a mystery romance. So this is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. Now, while I did not necessarily find this as like a new favorite, this cover by far is wonderful. I don't know what it is about this cover. I think because of like the cartoony style, I really enjoy the cover. But anyways, so in this one, we're following two authors, Maggie and Ethan. Maggie is like really known for her cozy mysteries and Ethan is known for his thrillers. But they get this invitation to spend the holidays at this really famous author's house. While they're there, this author goes missing and they don't know if is she supposed to go missing? Is it a joke? Are we supposed to find her? Is she in danger? What are we supposed to do? So Maggie and Ethan take it upon themselves to try and find this author. While they're doing that, they are also having feelings for each other because I forgot to mention, Maggie doesn't like Ethan. And now they're spending a lot of time together and now those feelings are developing. I think people will like this. Like I said, it's not my favorite, but if you love a good romance, you love a good mystery, you might love this one. If you love books about authors trying to solve a crime, you might like this one. But again, I just really like the cover. So if this sounded good to you, then I suggest that you check it out. Other people have really enjoyed it, but I do think this will be a good book to pick up during the winter months. So that is all that I have for you guys. If you have read any of these, please leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Or if you have any holiday romances you would like to recommend or any mystery thrillers that would be perfect to read during the cold winter months, please leave those recommendations down below. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.